Where do citizens, ordinary citizens, feel most comfortable in engaging in the work that really truly affects their lives? And the more you expand into larger and larger entities, the more I think people lose that sense of belonging to the process. Now, boy, on the other side, there's a crying need for greater integration of the efforts across those areas. But I think the expectation that we might do away with some of these entities, such as counties joining together where you'd only have one county, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's a tsunami of cooperation coming. I used to have a map on my wall in my office in the Senate that had the watershed districts of Minnesota, and it showed all the different watershed, and I loved the colors of it, and I loved thinking about this incredible diversity that we have. And it led me, in fact, to authoring legislation that forced together some of the entities that dealt with the waters of the state and the soil of the state. It's now called the Board of Water and Soil Resources, Bowser. I mean, that was a bloody fight, and I think that it's possible, but those entities still remained as having their own autonomy. But what we did is we got them all at the table because they've been fighting against each other for the same resources. I don't think we're going to see a realignment of political boundaries around watershed districts. I don't. I think that there could be more alignment, but I don't think it's going to be a realignment of governing. Now, does it make sense in some ways? But you know, you got to reverse decades, centuries here of the way in which people have conducted work and business, and I think it's smarter to try to get efficiencies out of what you got. You're seeing it now with North Dakota and Minnesota, again, impending floods. Here we go. We've really got to speed up this work together to figure out what's contributing to this besides the amount of precipitation, because a lot of it could have been prevented by retaining wetlands, having structures in place that would slow down the rapid flow of water, because everybody wants to get the water off the land so they can farm it as quick as possible. But we're seeing the consequence of that. And there has to then be some compensation back from those who would benefit, and those who, from those who would benefit to those who are going to suffer, because if we start holding more water back, somebody's going to be hurt. So that kind of governing can come about, I think, and it will. But it's too often it's because it's just we can't bear the price of these gigantic floods that we've seen and are about to see. Rural Minnesota, after this next reapportionment of legislative districts, is going to even lose more representation. And those rural legislators are, by and large, come from a caucus that doesn't really believe in raising revenues. And so you're going to have that conflict of diminishing revenues, and then the fight over what's left, and then the voices of those people who are from the metropolitan area saying, we don't have enough here. What are we doing subsidizing those folks? So that, I think, that's on the horizon as a real challenge. The budget for all of us, the amount of resources, financial resources that are available, I think that's what's going to trigger more and more cooperation. People, if they want this service, they're going to have to work with each other and find efficiencies. Leadership ought not to have to just come from the top. It's got to come from us.